This video shows another company budget, but much more simplified. So this is a same or similar spreadsheet tool that was used before. It's been pre-populated, and the values, I'm going to scroll to the right, have been entered in as quantity and unit cost. Let's say you don't want to deal with those escalation values and overhead tax and etc. You know your total top budget numbers and you just want to enter them in. So you want to scroll to the right. Here's your total estimate. Instead of entering in the values earlier, just enter in your total estimated values here. So let's say for 2018 XYZ, instead of 946, it's going to be 975. Continue on down for your budget. Let's say IT services, instead of 32, it's going to be 30, and continue on down. Basically what I'm doing is I'm transferring these numbers in this column to the actuals over here, and then eventually I'm going to change this value up here to no. But I'm going to transfer these values right now. The fence, I'm going to allocate 230, but since it's a no, I'm going to zero that out for right now, and I'm going to enter in round values for the remaining. So the values that you may have entered previously using the quantity and unit and escalate overhead and GA and all that, let's say you don't care about that. So we're entering in all the raw values which you believe are going to be more correct because you've done some side calculations. And there's a few more here. I'll just quickly enter these in. And the last one of 15. So now I've entered in all what I believe would be my actuals, but I'm going to switch this to exclude the burden and so forth. And so now the calculations are using the numbers I entered in here. To get a more exacting number, you could use here. If you wanted to use a more raw number, set this to no and enter in your values here. Again, all the 2018 numbers and everything else will show, and then you could look at your grand totals and your reports. This is a much easier way. Let's say you started out with a fresh spreadsheet. You didn't want to enter in all these values here. You've already pre-calculated that out some way, and you just want to enter in some raw values. So this is a great way to see what your company's expenses, your budget will be. And again, we've preset the values on the reports to capital. There's some IRAD. Let's say Jane's IT is, let's see, there's some of it. Let's say this value here that is on IRAD. You want to enter in travel estimate. Let's say you want to do more travel in 2019. We'll insert a new row, scroll to the top to the new row, and I'm going to say travel, total estimated travel for 2019. Again, that's a material. You'll see these are red. That's because it's assumed material received in because you've entered in actuals. If I change this to OB or material received in, it'll go non-red. You could enter it in either way. It will affect some of these totals. but I entered in travel for 2019. I'm going to scroll over my 2019. I'll set the year, and I'm going to select travel, empty travel, and instead of other, let's say that's also IRAD, so IRAD 2019, and we'll scroll over. Now we have IRAD 2018, we're going to add IRAD 2019, and this has already been selected. So when you go to your print summary, you'll have all of the totals across the board. Let's see, 2019 values did not show up, so let's see, we missed a selection. IRAD material only 2019. We have a 0 value here. So let's say travel, we're going to do a little bit more travel. $2,500 in travel. Go back to print summary, and you'll see now it changed to 2,500. And again, all the values are reflected in the additional pre-canned reports, and you can select to include or exclude certain tables, reports. So back to the data entry tab. All the totals again are at the top. Anything that's committed, if you've selected materials, but in this case, it almost doesn't matter because you're looking at the grand totals.